Welcome to Sunday Snippets, where we look at a quote from an influential Stoic book in under 60 seconds. But I'm not going to be able to keep it under 60 seconds today, so don't get mad at me. What would your life look like if you controlled all your cravings? If you could just turn off that voice inside of you when you walk past the dessert table, or when you see a new pair of shoes, or when you're scrolling through the list of emails or messages, what would your life look like if you could control that? The Stoics have a lot to say about this. Epictetus says that the chief task in life is to separate things into two buckets, the things that are in our control and the things that are not in our control. And when it comes to desire, Epictetus says, make no mistake, desire is the root of most human suffering. He says that because desire leads to want, and then when we don't get what we want, we suffer. So how do we deal with that? He gives us 4 tips, 4 ways that we can reduce craving and live a lighter life. The first thing he says is, don't desire what you don't have, but appreciate what you do. Now, this is super hard for us, because we live in a world full of ads and marketing that are trying to convince us if we just had that new iPhone or those new Jordan sneakers, or that perfect body that we see on Instagram, that if we could just have that thing that we don't have, then we will be happier. But the Stoics say, hey, wait a minute, instead of looking outside for more stuff, why don't we look inside and appreciate what we already have? Seneca says that some people are poor not because they have little, but because they crave more. So before you go out and spend money on something that you don't really need, take a step back and think, do I really need this or do I just want it? Because if you buy this thing, if you eat that extra slice of pizza, if you watch that extra episode of TV, if you stay at this job that makes you miserable just because you're worried about what people will think, if you do these things just because you want them, then you're gonna suffer. Tip no. 2 from Epictetus on how to deal with desire is, don't let future joys occupy the present. We can't do this because our mind always wants to escape the present moment. You know, we'll think, oh man, I got a big project due tomorrow, I gotta work on that. Or, oh man, my kids are driving me crazy right now, I wish they would just go away for a while. Instead of being present where you are, you're always thinking about the future. So the Stoics say, hey, when you feel yourself daydreaming about the future, bring yourself back to the present. Enjoy the present moment. Marcus Aurelius says that the happiness of your life depends on the quality of your thoughts. You can't let your mind run wild and uncontrolled. You have to be able to tell your mind where to focus its attention. And one way of doing that is by bringing your mind to the present moment, to the here and now. You can't be focused on the here and now and worry about the future at the same time. So tip no. 2. Don't let future joys occupy the present. No. 3. Epictetus says, don't desire to have it better, desire to have it now. What does that mean? It means that sometimes we aren't even really craving a specific thing. Sometimes we're just craving change. Maybe you hate your job, but you're also terrified of leaving that job and pursuing something new. Maybe you're unhappy in your relationship, but you don't know what it would be like to be single, so you're afraid to end that relationship. Maybe you hate living in your city, but you've never lived anywhere else, so you're afraid to move. This is called the fear of the unknown. Epictetus says, you know what? Stop worrying about the future and just start taking action towards the things that you want to achieve. Don't wait around for everything to be perfect, because it never will be. In fact, that's the exact opposite of what the Stoics teach. They teach that we should accept what we can't control, and one thing we can't control is the future. So instead of sitting around waiting for conditions to be perfect, instead of waiting for a perfect time to start that new project, or to start that new business, or to start that new workout plan, just start now. Just start and figure it out as you go along. Even though we can't know what's going to happen in the future, that doesn't mean we should just sit around and do nothing. It doesn't mean we should be passive. It doesn't mean we shouldn't take action. We should still take action. It just means that we shouldn't expect things to go exactly as planned. And finally, tip no. 4 from Epictetus is, when you're about to do something, ask yourself, is this necessary? It's very easy for us to say yes to everything, to try to please everyone, to make everyone happy, because we don't want to hurt anyone's feelings. But this is a surefire way to create more suffering for ourselves. So, before you commit to the next thing, before you agree to do the next favor for someone, before you let other people's expectations dictate your life, ask yourself, is this necessary? This is the key to getting your time back. This is the key to stopping other people from controlling your calendar. It's the key to making sure that you have time for the things that matter most to you. You can't just say yes to everything. You're not a doormat. You're not a people pleaser. And if you are, that's okay. That's who you are right now, but you don't have to continue down that path. you can stop that behavior right now and start asking yourself, is this necessary? Marcus Aurelius said that we should do everything as if it were the last thing we did in our lives, which means we should put our whole heart into it, our whole soul into it, our whole effort into it. But he also says that we should do everything as if it were the first thing we did in our lives, which means we should do it with enthusiasm, with passion, with energy. We should be excited about it. So the question I have for you today is this: which desire are you ready to cut off this year? Which craving are you going to stop feeding? Which habit are you going to stop participating in? Which thing are you going to stop doing this year? Are you going to continue to let your mind race ahead of you and plan out all these future scenarios that might happen, might not happen, probably won't happen? Or are you going to bring your mind back to the present moment and enjoy what you have right now? I'm really curious to hear your answers on this. I'm really interested in knowing which desires you're ready to stop feeding this year. So leave your answers in the comments below. Let me know and let the other people in the community know. And if you enjoyed this video, check out some of the other Sunday snippets. You can find them all on a playlist called Sunday Snippets. And as always, I'll see you next week.